On June 20th, 1984, two men had been fishing along the Spokane River near T.J. Minnock Bridge when they came across the nude body of a female on the south side bank, 1.8 miles west from the bridge. The woman had been dismembered, with both of her arms having been cut at the midpoint of her wrists and her legs at the mid-calf level. Her head had also been removed. Police found no clothing or personal belongings of Jane Doe's, nor were any murder weapons ever recovered. However, it is believed that the tool used to sever the woman's limbs was an axe, hatchet, or knife. Jane Doe's death was determined to be a homicide by stabbing, and an autopsy would reveal that she had been sexually assaulted. Her age would be estimated between 16 and 30 years old, with her height being around 5'7" and her weight 130 pounds. Her hair and eye color were unable to be determined, although her body hair appeared to be blonde. There was also evidence that she had bore at least one child during her lifetime. Identifying marks on Jane Doe's body include a 1.5-inch oval horizontal scar on her left kneecap, a diagonal 1.5-inch scar on her left arm, two small moles on the front of her neck, and several striae over her lower abdomen and breast. Some dental information has been obtained, including a gap between her upper front teeth, mesial caries in her upper canine tooth, and a rotated lateral incisor. A DNA sample had also been obtained, however, as of July 2022, there have been no matches, and Jane Doe, who has since been named Millie by the Spokane Police Department, has yet to be identified. Pinning down a time frame for how long Millie had been dead proves difficult, since bodies decompose at a slower rate when in colder temperatures, the river having only been 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius on the day of her discovery. With that said, while the coroner estimates her body having only been in the water for 48 hours or less, the Spokane County Medical Examiner determined the time could have been much longer. Since Millie didn't match any local persons, it is believed that she was not local to Spokane. Due to the condition of her body and the way she had been dismembered, some investigators believe that she may have known her killer, who had removed her head, hands, and feet as an effort to prevent her identification. There is also the theory that Millie may not have been her killer's first victim, with the individual in question possibly having had experience knowing how to dismember and dispose of a body. However, with no suspect ever having been named by police, it's difficult to say for certain. Tape had been found on Millie's arms, which would later be sent to the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab in 2006, with the hope that it could provide potential suspect DNA. However, no updates have been given in regards to that evidence. 2 days after Millie's discovery, the body of 30-year-old Debbie Finnard had been discovered on June 22, 1984. Like with Millie, Finnard had been stabbed and there was evidence of sexual activity. However, her body had been clothed and not dismembered. Nor was it dumped in a body of water, which had led police to doubt any relation between the two women. Finnard's murder remains an unsolved mystery. However, it has been speculated that she could possibly be a victim of serial killer Robert Lee Yates. Yates had killed over 16 women in Spokane between the years 1975 and 1998. All of his victims were prostitutes working on Spokane's East Sprague Avenue. While it could be possible that Fernan and Millie died at the hands of Yates, there is a dissimilar detail in their murders compared to Yates' known victims. Yates had killed each of his victims with a gunshot wound to the head, while both Fernan and Millie died of stab wounds. Yates had been arrested in 2000 and was sentenced to death. However, this was later commuted to a life sentence when Washington State abolished the death penalty in 2018. A month after Millie's discovery, a dog had brought home a decomposing left hand of a woman in Rimrock area near the bridge. This hand was sent to the FBI so that fingerprints could be obtained. However, at some point it had been misplaced and was eventually determined to be unrelated. Millie's case would grow cold until 14 years later on April 19, 1998. A woman had been walking her dog along 7th Avenue and Sherman Street at about 7 p.m. when she found a human skull along debris at the base of an embankment. The area was a vacant lot known as the neighborhood dumping site and had been covered in heavy brush until volunteers cleared it out the previous fall. It had also once been the site of a church, which was demolished in 1989, 5 years after Millie's body had been discovered. The skull still had 2 vertebrae attached, matching the angle and location where Millie's head had been severed, and DNA would later confirm that the skull was in fact hers. Police would excavate the lot and discover other bones as well. However, none were a match, and to this day, Millie's hands and feet remain missing. The discovery of Millie's skull would allow for a forensic sketch to finally be completed, based on what police believe she would have looked like in life. Based on her facial characteristics, it has been suggested that Millie may have been of Scandinavian origin, but so much has never been able to be confirmed. In 2015, amateur sleuths discovered similarities between Millie's case and that of a missing woman named Sheila Annette Pauley. Sheila had been born on April 4, 1960, and lived in Blythe, California at the time of her disappearance. She was known to regularly visit Charlie's Chuck House in Ellenburg, Arizona, which was located 5 miles away from her home. On September 1, 1980, 20-year-old Sheila had last been seen leaving the establishment and was reportedly followed by several members of a local motorcycle gang. She would never be seen or heard from again and would leave behind an infant son. While there are very few details available for Sheila's disappearance, it has been noted that she shares many characteristics with that of Millie. She was a white female who stood around 5'6" and 5'8", weighed around 120 pounds to 130 pounds, had blonde hair, brown eyes, and a birthmark on her nose along with 2 moles on her neck. Sheila's family submitted DNA evidence to police. However, unfortunately, no match had been determined to that of Millie's DNA, meaning the 2 women are not the same. After 38 years, Millie remains unidentified, as does her killer or killers. In 2018, a rendering was created of what she is believed to have looked like in life. This would be the last public update of her case. However, the Spokane Police Department continues to investigate it. If you have any information concerning Millie's identification or murder, you are urged to call 509-456-2233 while referring to the case number 8400002.